Elias, always in long sleeves, even on the hottest days, sips his coffee at the community center. His eyes hold a quiet depth, a story unshared. A casual glance, a hidden flicker beneath his carefully pulled-down cuffs. A past carefully concealed, waiting for a moment to be seen. Elias moved through his retired years with a quiet, almost imperceptible grace. He wasn't one for grand pronouncements or seeking the spotlight, preferring the gentle hum of daily life unfolding around him. His presence was more of a soft anchor in the background, a man content with the edges of interaction, easily overlooked by those caught in their own busy currents. The local community center served as his morning anchor. Its spacious hall often echoed with a vibrant symphony of sounds, the lively chatter of diverse conversations, the rhythmic clatter of coffee cups, and the energetic shouts of children from nearby activity rooms. Elias would often find a quiet table near the window, a cup of black coffee his steady companion, observing the rich tapestry of human connection unfolding before him. He offered a brief, polite nod to familiar faces, a respectful acknowledgement that never quite invited prolonged conversation. He listened more than he spoke, his eyes absorbing the world while his own story remained unshared. A consistent detail quietly defined his appearance. His shirts invariably featured long sleeves, meticulously pulled down to cover his forearms, regardless of the temperature. Even on days when the sun streamed through the windows, warming the cafe space and prompting others to shed layers, Elias remained covered. It was a silent, unaddressed peculiarity, a personal quirk that went unquestioned, yet subtly acknowledged. He would, almost unconsciously, adjust a cuff, a quick, imperceptible movement, if it threatened to ride up, a constant, unspoken effort to maintain his chosen concealment. This consistent discretion didn't go unnoticed. Other patrons sometimes exchanged quick, speculative glances. Was he always cold? Did he have a skin condition? The questions remained unspoken, hanging in the air between polite smiles and averted gazes. A respectful but undeniable barrier often formed around the man who always kept a part of himself hidden. This unspoken curiosity created a subtle loneliness, a sense of Elias existing just beyond the full embrace of the bustling room. He moved through his mornings, a calm presence in a world that, despite its openness, couldn't quite see all of him. The weight of his unshared past, though never mentioned aloud, quietly shaped his every interaction, defining his seemingly simple existence. That Tuesday burst with an unusual energy at the community center. A group of younger volunteers, college students mostly, buzzed with an almost overwhelming enthusiasm. Their loud jokes and rapid chatter filled the main hall, echoing off the high ceilings as they bustled about, setting up tables and decorations for an upcoming charity event. Their youthful exuberance, while vibrant, carried a certain thoughtlessness, a focus entirely on their own immediate tasks and conversations. Elias, with his usual quiet readiness to assist, had joined them, methodically helping to move heavy cardboard boxes filled with donated items. He carefully lifted a particularly bulky box, its weight shifting unexpectedly. In a swift, instinctive effort to brace it and prevent a tumble, his right arm moved sharply. In that sudden motion, the meticulously pulled-down fabric of his long sleeve rode high up his forearm. For a stark, suspended moment, a glimpse of deeply discolored, rigid scar tissue became visibly exposed, etched across his skin. One of the young volunteers, mid-laugh and caught off guard by the unexpected sight, blurted out, "Whoa, dude! What's with your arm? Gross!" The words, raw and unfiltered, cut through the bustling noise like a physical blow. The cheerful chatter ceased abruptly. A cup clattered somewhere, the sound amplified by the sudden, heavy silence that descended over that section of the hall. Elias did not flinch. No anger crossed his face, nor did any flicker of shame. His expression remained impassive, a mask of practiced dignity. His movements, however, became quick, almost urgent. With a swift, fluid motion, he pulled his sleeve back down, meticulously covering the exposed skin. His gaze remained fixed on the floor as he quietly resumed his task, picking up the box he had momentarily steadied. It was a reaction born of long habit, a profound, almost ingrained resignation to such moments of exposure and the careless remarks that followed. He simply wished to disappear, to once again become the unobserved presence he preferred. The young volunteer who had spoken, now flushed with acute embarrassment, mumbled a hurried, inaudible apology, but Elias offered no acknowledgement. The immediate vicinity remained gripped by an awkward, heavy quiet, a shared discomfort hanging in the air, with Elias at its still, silent center. At a quiet table, tucked away in a far corner, a distinguished figure had been observing the entire incident. General Thorne, a man with an aura of unwavering authority, sat impeccably dressed in a sharp, dark suit. His silver hair, neatly parted, and the keen intelligence in his piercing blue eyes hinted at a life lived with purpose and command. He had arrived early for a veterans outreach session, calmly reviewing some official papers, a picture of composed readiness. As the young man's crude remarks sliced through the air, General Thorne's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. His eyes, which had witnessed countless moments of both human frailty and profound courage, narrowed with an intense, unyielding focus. He watched Elias's quiet, dignified retreat, a silent disapproval etched into his features. The general's hand, resting on his coffee cup, clenched. The injustice of the moment, the thoughtless dismissal of someone's sacrifice, was a stark affront to his own deeply held values. He slowly set down his pen, his movements deliberate, unhurried. The scrape of his chair against the linoleum floor, though not loud, resonated with an unexpected command, cutting through the lingering awkwardness in the hall. Every head in the vicinity instinctively turned, drawn by the quiet authority of his presence. General Thorne stood, his posture ramrod straight, radiating an unmistakable power that seemed to fill the space. His voice, when he finally spoke, was calm, measured, yet it carried an undeniable weight. It wasn't a shout, but a clear, resonant pronouncement that reached every ear. Looking directly at the still pale young volunteer, then scanning the now silent room, he delivered 6 simple, yet profoundly impactful words. He got those protecting your peace. The words hung in the air, cold and sharp, immediately drawing all eyes first to him, then back to Elias. The collective discomfort in the room dissolved, replaced by a dawning sense of awe and shame. The general then began to move, slowly, deliberately, directly towards Elias, his gaze filled with a profound respect and an understanding that bypassed all need for explanation. General Thorne, now standing directly beside Elias, turned slowly to face the stunned faces in the community center. His voice, steady and filled with an undeniable conviction, began to unveil the truth. "The marks you see on Elias's arms," he stated, his gaze sweeping across the room, "are not blemishes. They are the indelible record of profound selflessness. Decades ago, under the most brutal conditions, Elias plunged into a collapsing structure that had taken a direct hit. He didn't think of himself. He extracted 5 individuals, strangers to him, from certain peril, taking the full brunt of the inferno. He emerged with severe burns, but with every life he saved intact. A quiet, poignant addition followed. One of those lives was my own daughter's." A collective gasp echoed through the hushed hall. The casual chatter had vanished entirely, replaced by a profound, almost reverent silence. Faces that had moments ago held indifference or fleeting judgment now contorted with shock, remorse, and an overwhelming sense of awe. A woman in the front row openly wept, her hand covering her mouth. The young volunteer who had uttered the careless remark stood motionless, his face ashen, his eyes fixed on Elias, the full weight of his thoughtlessness crashing down on him. A solitary hand began to clap, then another joined. And soon, a ripple of applause swelled across the room. It was not a boisterous ovation, but a deeply respectful, almost solemn tribute, a profound acknowledgement for a man whose quiet presence had shielded a story of immense heroism. Elias, unaccustomed to such public recognition, slowly lifted his gaze. A subtle, almost imperceptible shift softened his features, a hint of something long buried, now stirring. He offered General Thorne a minute, knowing nod, a silent communion between two who understood the language of sacrifice. Maria, the community center manager, her eyes glistening, stepped forward. "Elias," she said, her voice thick with emotion, "from now on, your meals here are on us, forever. It is truly an honor." Her simple words solidified the transformation, marking the moment Elias ceased to be just a quiet regular and became, in the eyes of the community, a living testament to courage. Elias's courage reminds us, true heroism often wears no medals, only the indelible marks of sacrifice. Every scar tells a story of profound bravery. Let's make sure those stories are heard, not forgotten. Subscribe to Quiet Soldier Stories to honor those who silently served and continue to inspire us with their untold resilience. Your support helps us share these vital narratives.